Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
What is going on, man?
Oh.
So wait, how are we gonna listen to the guys? Like, what is going on, man?
Eric.
What's up, man? That good? You like that, yeah?
Are you going to talk all day now?
I don't know, possibly, man, possibly. So wait, seriously, how is this gonna work though? Are they gonna like make a whisper system so we can like hear like through whoever's talking to the interviewer, or what?
I don't know. I think Baffle's got a list of questions ready, which he will ask, and hopefully Bobik will answer. And after that, there will be a kind of free time where people can talk and ask their own questions. I think he's relying on everyone's goodwill not to spam the audio, you know?
But my main like thing is like I'm just wondering how we're like actually gonna hear them though. Like I mean, I don't know. Is everyone in here gonna be able to listen to the interview?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Hopefully.
Everybody's gonna be in the same channel as them, so yeah, we're gonna be able to listen to it.
Oh, nice, cool. That was basically what I was asking. Man. Cheers.
Beric. That's
What's
English
up?
accent.
What?
Glorious.
You like my English accent?
Yeah, it is glorious.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Everyone says I sound like a pleb.
Didn't say the contrary.
Oh wow,
Nonetheless.
that's a little bit rude.
No.
God damn. Hey, what's up, Ragnar of Aberon?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hello, man.
Have you been in contact with Conan anytime recently, Ragnar?
Conan?
Conan, man.
I don't think
The
I've seen him
legendary-
for a year.
The legendary RPer, man. I loved his accent though, really. It was so great.
No matter what the situation was with him, I was always sitting cracking up laughing.
Yeah, he's so funny. I watched his videos on YouTube as well when he posted them of those battles that you guys had. It was honestly hilarious.
Welcome.
Alexander.
Ragnar is from your country.
Nice.
Kartoffelland.
Remember when Alexander got really salty that one time?
Yeah, I remember, man.
Remember,
You know what?
remember Håkon having sex on YouTube on the Life is Feudal roleplay server?
That was great, man.
That was great.
That was
I am the
perfect.
best RPer, man.
I was
Alright,
laughing
guys.
as fuck, man.
Serious question, man. I need to know something. Do you guys think tower shields are useless for large-scale combat?
They're more useful for tower scale combat.
That's what I'm asking. Like, in terms of like a large-scale like combat situation, do you think like having a lot of shields is really pointless?
No, they're tower shields, so not for large scale, more for tower scale, which is high scale, you know?
Are you like being a troll or something, or?
No.
I think you are, man.
Alright, anyway, so this is I already went over these with most of the people in here, but I'm going to do it again because more people have joined. So the way this is going to work is we have pre-selected questions from people who've asked on the Discord. We're gonna have a couple people from various guilds ask, basically have open mic, and then after the questions have been asked and answered by Bobik, we are going to be have everybody have an open mic because he wants a conversation, he wants feedback, he wants criticism. However, any kind of trolling kind of actions or spam or anything that's not okay with, that both Saxon and Bobik have the ability to kick you, as do I and a couple other admins. We don't plan to, but don't be a troll. Don't, if we get to the open part, try not to talk over each other, try to show respect, and he basically wants a conversation, so try to keep that in mind.
Okay.
Oh, no fucking now.
I'm just saying, like, I won't troll. I know everyone believes I'm a big troll on this game, but I'm not a troll, so I'm just confirming that now.
Just behave, and we're all trolls. I mean, we've all been trolls before, so
yeah, there's a time and place for it.
Yeah, okay, of course. I mean, Bobik's my hero, so I won't do anything. I love this guy, man. I
mean, he even said he doesn't care if people say this game sucks, fix the game, blah blah blah. But he wants honest opinion, so
like basically typical Discord channel, like ranting confirmed.
Well, it's in a more civilized manner. Like we're gonna ask our questions. He's gonna answer them, and then it's gonna be open. Basically an open mic for people to ask questions or to, give criticism. So
yes,
just make sure you offer solutions. Just don't be negative.
Yeah, and to be honest, we've already had a very detailed conversation with both Bobik and Saxon. So,
did you say fix game, please? It sucked.
Actually, we had quite a long conversation with Saxon, and it actually was pretty, decent.
Oh, that's cool. Did you tell him Lancers are OP?
No, we didn't get into that kind of stuff.
Damn. God damn. By the way, Borden, I find that very rude that you poked me that.
He's not in here, I think.
He is.
Well, I'm just going over, just a just in case thing, because everybody's gonna be out of the power to talk, and I know that some people are more trollish than others. No names. So.
Well, not me. Alexander's a well-known troll, so Alex, just keep your mouth shut, okay?
Well, I mean, come on, we're gonna have Podrick in here, so.
Oh yeah. I like Podrick, man. Podrick's a nice guy, man.
Oh no! He's reporting for everything.
So yeah, so we might have to mute Podrick, permanently or something. But
me and Podrick are like brothers, man.
Oh, then we might have to mute you too.
Oh my god! He in Kingdom of Atlas long time ago, he was roleplay fucking one of my members.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Dagford.
Hey.
Did you change the Judgment Hour on Dark Age tonight?
We've cancelled it for tonight because of the question answer thing.
Okay.
Does anybody know any good RP servers I can join?
No comment.
I want to RB.
So, does anybody have any questions as far as how we're setting this up?
No. I think you guys have done a good job, honestly. Thank you for taking lead of this interview and allowing us the opportunity to drool and masturbate over this glorious opportunity.
Well, I will be fair and give credit where credit's due. Veneers have been helping as well. Dragmar's been helping. He will be one of the ones talking. Has an open mic. brother as well. So hasn't just been us. It's been mostly us, but others have added input as well. So
yeah. Well, I think maybe my I think not to take credit or anything, but I think my my epic rants probably caused a bit of a stir in their minds. I think that's why they did this. To be honest, just saying. No credit to me, of course, guys, but I mean, someone's got a rant, right?
Anyway, so hopefully this will go well, and we won't want to shoot ourselves at the end. So let me go check if they're ready down there. So.
Oh, the optimism of youth.
I'm not. What?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, wow. Oh my god, not Horden, man.
Horden?
Oh, Horden.
What's going on, lads?
What's going on, my friend?
Fucking nice day to be on here.
What happened to that guy that, was obsessed with me singing, bro? Is he still around?
Oh, Sammy? No,
yeah.
he just plays different games now.
Oh, shit. Does he, I feel like maybe he wanted to quit life because of, me not singing to him anymore?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
you could leave instead.
What? What do you say? I don't understand, stop it.
That's nice.
I'm just kidding, bro.
Too late. My feelings are broken.
Don't feel hurt, my friend. Put a plaster on your heart.
That's a poor impression of Bobik.
Hey, Dark Fins, where's Dax?
Cool.
No, Dax is here, you just need to figure out which ones he's using. I have an honest question. Is Dax still bragging around he's the world's best player? Because when he played with us, he was doing that. What? No, come on. If we're going to come in here, you need to be proper, mate. Yeah. This is a respectable channel, believe it or not.
Yeah, Buffalo's really hard about that, no fucking around. Yo, Berik, you wanna train me to become a PvP god? Yes. Yes.
Who's recording?
Shit just got real.
Yeah, boys. Whoa, stop recording.
Oh, thank you, master, thank you. Marthas is so shit nowadays that, it can't just train.
Well, I've lost my edge these days, I do admit.
I mean, I wanna be trained by true PvP god, like... Oh. If I give you some good stuff.
Hey, Barrick, can you calm down now, because the meeting is probably about to start. Yeah.
Oh shit, brother's here. Yeah, represent RP, boys. Let's go.
Oh my. Hold on.
Chip.
Yeah, we know, there's a lot of people. I can just open the channel, to be honest.
Would make it faster, yeah.
Yeah, it's open.
It's open?
It's almost there. and that's done.
There's a Calvin Khan down bottom.
Yeah, I'm grabbing him.
And the Ragnarok as well down there.
Come on. How can I turn off those activation voice? I mean, I'll put my play no sounds, deactivated, blah blah blah, but it's still, I can't hear the voice. So, can we proceed?
Yeah, everything's ready. People will eventually and gradually join the TeamSpeak, which is fine.
Seriously, how can I turn off the notifications?
Let me check.
Sound deactivated, yeah.
Yeah, it's on notifications. If you go to options, tools.
Oh, 1 second. Where is it? Options, notification. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Client connection.
Channel. Client connection.
Oh, I found you a better option. Just go to options and notifications, and on the top right of the table you'll see
sounds deactivated.
Yeah, play no sounds, exactly.
It doesn't help.
Doesn't?
Yeah. That's my.
I think you might have to relog for it.
I'll do it quickly.
You probably can't speak because you're on AFK.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let's proceed.
Okay, so welcome Bobik, and thank you for showing to answer a few questions for your community. I think we can all agree that most of us here today are very invested into this game, Life is Feudal, and its development. And this is also why this AMA is a great opportunity for all of us to not only be more involved with the development, but also to understand what direction Life is Feudal is taking. So another message from the community is that overall, we're not expecting to be appeased with this AMA, like I explained you before, but to be answered as straightforward as possible. It's okay if this or that feature is not implemented, we just want to know. I'm sure there's a lot of groups here today represented, and with very different approaches or points of view to the game, so not everybody will be pleased.
That's completely okay, and that's actually good that there are a lot of different people.
Exactly. So one thing that I've noticed is that there's at least one difference from the last Q&A that you had a few months ago and this AMA, which is, well, crossbows are actually being used now, so something changed here. So I'll follow up with a few questions that are quite mandatory to be asked. There's a lot of people wanting an answer for some of these questions, but after this, this is pretty much a debate, an open forum, like you said. We'll just speak with the people here. So, you ready?
Well, I'm ready. I just want to also make a quick introduction.
Yeah.
The main reason why I initiated that AMA was actually is because I want to ask some questions to you, and well, as part of our game, I will answer your questions and you will answer my questions. So okay, it's like not strictly my AMA. It's like a really discussion of the forum.
Exactly. Yeah.
Debates.
A little debates.
Yeah. So let's proceed. Let's start with questions.
Okay. So I'll just make you some easy questions to start with, so you can get used to, and then it's pretty much some questions that, well, I personally don't know. It's about you, so I'll start with what's your favorite combat class, for example?
There are no preferences, but I prefer cavalry. But in our game, it's not Not absolutely as good as I wanted to.
I was just trying to see if you have.
Yeah, but trust me, OP Lancers is not because of my preference.
Okay, I'll follow up with a serious question now, which is related to the engine of the game. We've discussed that, well, this is based on Torque 3D and everything, and my question is, have you encountered any limitations to the engine that might be blocking some of your wishes or projects for Life is Feudal?
A lot, since we started development. Well, you must understand that almost all engines, and Torque 3D is not
an exception.
An exception, yeah. Almost all 3D engines, gaming engines, are designed to make a single player or small scale multiplayer game, like shooter or something like that.
Exactly.
And if you want to do something else, you will most certainly have to modify it, and sometimes you must have to modify it heavily. So, and of course, there are almost no engines that are ready for MMO. For large scale, and that's why we were ready, and we are doing it all those years. We are modifying engine, and if we see some limitations, we surprise them. We change the engine as we need it. That's why we actually call. When someone says that it's Torque 3D, yes, it's true. The basis is Torque 3D, but we are so far from default Torque 3D. I mean, it's like really our own engine. As far as I know, Torque 3D doesn't have DirectX 11 render yet. It doesn't have 64-bit version. And right now we are working on physics-based rendering, new rendering engine that will be completely new from the scratch, but will be integrated in our like gaming part of the engine. And
that's very good to know.
Yeah. Once we're gonna have some kind of screenshots or something to show you, we'll definitely do it.
Nice. So you
basically not expect it to. I mean, like it's not a matter of 1 or 2 months. Closer to the end of the year.
What you mean is that in most of the cases you can rewrite the engine in a way you can go around a certain limitation that it might provide.
That's right. That's correct. That was one of the reasons why we picked Torque 3D, because it's C++, open source, and all source code was available. If compared with, let's say, Unity, that everyone is crying about a lot, Unity have its closed part that's actually written on C++, and if you want to get an access to that core, you will have either pay or have a good connection with Unity. So. If you don't do it, you might stumble upon some limitations, and you will have to do something, to insert some clutches or something like that. It's not the case in our. It's not our case. We have access to all the source code, and if we see that not optimal or it doesn't do what we need to do, we just change it. That's
well, it gives us a little hope, because it means that if you're faced with an obstacle, you can always rewrite it.
We have faced so many obstacles during all those years, so it's no longer bothers us.
Okay, so another question is that in the last Q&A that you had, you spoke about the skill cap that the MMO is going to have. Back then, you said that you decided to make the skill cap at 400 maximum. Are you happy with that decision? You said you were going to evaluate if you were going to change or not, but you would only change if you had to. How do you think that's affecting?
Well, that's actually a good question, and I also wanted to ask that question to you. To all the players. As well, honestly, I had no time to inspect it in details. To take a look on how how skill cap affects players at the moment.
Yeah, how does it affect the community and the big groups and even the small groups or the individual player, right?
Yes, I had truth to be told, we don't have that many statistics so far, but whatever I heard or seen, people are getting used to it, and it doesn't cost a lot of I don't know, stress or discontent.
Of course.
Yeah, but on the other side, I believe it's always good when one team play is promoted more. When you have a lower skill cap, that means you need more friends to help you
exactly.
to cover other parts, and that's what this MMO is about. I mean, I'm completely okay with leave your servers with 3,000 skill cap, or it's up to them. But it wasn't planned. It wasn't originally planned, and MMO should be a team-based game.
Exactly.
Actually, massive guild-based game. And individuals, they can also have it at Wing, or they can always retrain, or many options. Or they can just be friendly with someone else nearby, but not like.
Yeah, it's a controversial topic because, well, while 400 skill cap promotes a lot of relation and interaction between players and groups, there are still a few people who claim that it might be a bit debilitating to such a number. So it's an open discussion that, well, we're bound to have at some point.
I'm so sorry, Rika. Actually, everyone, if you can give some voice, or maybe you can just...
Yes, there are people here represented, like Brother is here. He represents the RP community, which is the other side of the fence. So what do you think, Brother, about the 400 skill cap?
I'm a big fan of it. On RP Cliff, we have always tried to keep the skill cap low, in keeping in mind the 64 player cap. So we've had it at 800 for the last couple years, and we never want to go above that. We think that makes sense because, of course, guilds are going to be smaller on your own than on the MMO, but I think for the MMO, 400 is perfect.
Okay, and well, guys, whoever can hear us, feel free to write down your comments. So, if you cannot voice your opinion, you can always chat. Write in the chat. As far as I understand, everyone who's muted, he still can write in the chat.
Yeah, everybody can write and participate in the live chat.
That will do.
Yeah. Dragmar, any opinions about the 400 skill cap? You're also on another side of the fence, so.
Yeah, it feels like 400. It's like it's been said in the chat here as well. It feels like it fits very well with both PvE and the PvP. For PvP, you're not able to do any majorly OP combinations. For PvE, it's making it so that you can go into win skill 3, but you probably have to decide at the end. Like, you can't do both a master weaponsmith and a master armorsmith. You have to you gotta make a choice. There's an individual choice to how you wanna shape your character.
Okay, well, I believe we can see it in the chat that everyone is happy with that. And it's actually a good suggestion to make it 420.
So, proceeding on, this is another question that is rather interesting. It kind of tells us how much time you take an effort to do one of both, which is how much time do you guys, the dev team, actually spends time actually playing the game, opposed to develop the game? You
really
take time
low.
to play?
Really low amount of time. I personally, it's good if I have a chance to log at least once a week. The developers, the coders themselves, I don't think they log in until we have running MMO servers, so they can assess the situation.
It's just important for us to know if you actually play the game you code, so for you guys to understand some of the flaws, since you are the first witnesses of your own creation.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But of course, we got the playtests, and sometimes we not part in them, but mostly it's on shoulders of the quality assurance.
Yeah,
those guys are actually playing the most of the time. But. I still want to play my game once it will be in a more finished state. I mean, all the issues are rather known, and I mean, of course, I take a look on features once they're completed. I mean, like playing them a little bit by myself, but nothing much over that.
Of course, I understand that,
and that's why we sorry to interrupt. That's why we have. I'm trying to get new blood that are actually playing or played a lot of in our game, and they became our Q&A injury.
I see. I actually have a very just a few more questions that are really important, and then we can proceed to a more open discussion about the game and its development. So a big question that was made just a few hours ago, and I'll read it to you. Just bear with me. So you know that stability is a great concern for the game and its players, and do you feel it will actually be possible to have open world large scale combats outside of the instance battles? Because, and I'll explain you have all that entire process where you are fighting against the guild through the instance battles, but then you will come to a time that you kind of have to siege the base, right, in an open scale battle, and it kind of rolls back to the old Judgment Hour method, because you still have to siege the base. Is that going to be feasible? Do you think that's going to work? Because we already experienced a lot of instability on the server when we are doing that.
It's rather not instability, it's rather performance, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like lags, and we are working on that a lot. The main reason behind that instability is physics, and we are working on it right now. Well, we are almost constantly working on it. I can provide you with a sneak peek.
Just link it on the chat.
Yeah, I will. It's nothing serious. It's just like really a new experiment. When we play with physics on that experiment, you can see player capsules. Actual players rendering is.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's player capsules. It's representation of a player, basically representation of a player. That being poured on top of a house.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't represent a combat situation.
Yeah, but it's behaving like that.
Yeah. But it's still physics. It's still collision. They're still moving and colliding with each other. So the thing is, right now we're working, and I believe we will constantly working on optimization or on server and client-side optimizations. And on that CBT, you hopefully at last you will be able to experience instant battles. You might notice that physics will work a little bit different there. For instance, you will be able to push someone who is standing still. But if he's moving, it should be fine. We expect that such physics tuning should increase performance like 3 times at least. But again, we'll see how it's going to work out. And once we're going to tune it and once we're going to stabilize it, we might implement something similar on a main world too.
Okay.
Well, if it's lagging right now with hundreds or with 100 of people, it will soon lag. Chat, can you hear me?
Yes. You're all right.
Yep, something weird. Yeah. So what were my last words that you heard?
We were speaking about the instance battles and how we were going to fix that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started to explain, and I don't know what.
What exactly does your father do?
We're all having the same problem, I guess.
Check. Somebody's
Yes.
muting a channel.
Somebody's muting. No, they aren't.
No.
Okay, I think it's working now.
No,
Okay.
someone is muting the whole channel, so it's not on,
Yeah.
on my side.
yeah. I'm just trying to find out what's happening, but
Well, maybe it's recording, maybe not. So, okay, back to the topic.
the open world combat.
Yeah, open world combat. So, we'll do our best to make it able to as many players as possible. But no matter what we do. Check.
Yeah.
Is it moving people that's doing it?
No, it's not moving people. It's just muting the channel where nobody has permissions to mute the channel.
I think the cap is for some reason.
Hold up, that was me now. I'm just trying to fix this. Give me a second.
I think it has to be done something with the permissions to make it impossible to mute the whole chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now. Just a second. Okay, brother, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, it's on. Boss?
Yes.
Okay, it's here. Okay, it's done. And Ragnar. Okay, so I'm sorry. We were saying, speak again about the open world combat. I'm not sure if they will keep, well, blocking the channel.
I'll keep an eye on. At least
Okay.
I will stop when I see that might.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, back to the topic. So I think, so I say, I believe it will be possible to make a proper stage with at least 200, maybe up to 300 players, but we must understand that no matter what, there will always be a limitation. And even if we're able to optimize it to up to 500, at 550 players, there will be a lag. And that's how almost all open space or free movement MMOs are working. I mean, when in EVE Online, when there are almost no calculations, no collision detection, no physics, there is nothing except just targeting and PvP once a couple of seconds. Even then, in their game, blobs are possibility and that lacks all the server and clients, well, maybe not clients, but server.
Of course.
So what I think, so far, we do not want to make it some kind of artificial limitations, but most probably we will make some kind of gameplay limitations that will discourage idea of getting with a lot of people on the same spot, on the same siege. Maybe it will be something similar to battle mechanics, but on the same level. And those who are not authorized by leaders will have a significant debuff or something like that, out of the blue. But right now, our main concern is to make it as many players as possible, and our bottleneck is physical. That's what.
Yeah, you
Okay.
Yeah.
just lock it.
Yes,
Rick.
it's locked. It's locked. It's locked. I found the bug.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, the server
it's
is
a
300, but the channel seems to be 100.
Yeah.
And that's strange.
Oh, no, it said it. I don't understand why our license goes to up to 300 people, but well, you know. So I was asking you if that. I'm sure you understand that there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of questions regarding combat. I'm sure you are aware of that, and we all know that at some point, probably all the issues regarding combat will be fixed at some point or another. But are they your priority right now?
Yes, there are. Right now we're working on a weapons balance of rebalancing. I just recently got the statistics of weapons that have been crafted in MMO. Do you want to know what's the most crafted weapon?
What is the most crafted weapon? I'm gonna laugh. Boar spear.
I would guess Boar spear.
It's third. It's third popular. On second place is lance. On the first place is a grossmaster.
Okay. What's the first? Grossmaster.
Grossmaster. Yeah.
And the second. Okay.
Lance. Second lance. Third is boar spear.
Okay, yeah, that answers a lot of questions.
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean,
channel can. Okay, so the channel can only have 99 people. Is that it?
No, yeah, we know it. Just let's really just lock it.
Yeah, just lock the entire channel so people can't join.
Yeah, I'm doing that as we speak. Done. We won't have any more problems. So, that answers a lot of questions I was saying. And do you understand the flaws behind those weapons?
Do I understand the flaws behind those weapons?
Yeah. Most of the people claim that, for example, the boar spear is a very OP weapon that cannot be parried, for example.
Oh, well, yeah, and we're going to fix it.
Okay, so this throws me to another big question, which is feedback and how we can interact with you guys. We know that you've recently introduced a Skift, which is supposed to be a person who. What does he do? Does he work around balancing stuff?
Yeah, Kifit is going to be a rock star now.
So. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I can explain it. No,
Okay.
I just don't know where to start. So, I believe it's a good hiring strategy that I personally adapted is to actually get as many motivated people into our company as possible that knows our game. So, for instance, Saxon, Stephanie, Arrakis, they were all fans of our game at first, and only then they became our employees.
I see.
And Kifit, we also got a game designer who was a Q&A engineer first, and he's also played and maybe. And Kifit is just one of those people who is actively played. Sorry, he actively played back then, and was taking part in PvPs.
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah. Well, somebody knows, somebody don't. And he also helped us with bug finding, with reports, and that's how he ended up in our team. So he is like, he's kind of like advocate of of players because he knows what is good, what is not good in the game, and if he don't, I ask him to check out within his community, within players he can reach. If we don't need, like a survey on all the player base, but we need just opinion of hundreds of people that are actively playing.
Of course.
Taking part in PvP, he's the right person. And sorry, one more. I just want to streak. We had a discussion with Kifit, and I want to make it clear. He's not playing anymore, and he will not play. If we will find out that he plays, we're gonna have trouble.
Of course,
I'm talking about MMO and actual playing. I mean, it's okay to log in, check out mechanics, and run around like as a game master, but he will not be alleged with any guild or any site.
Of course. So, but my question, the reason I asked what Kift's job was, is because we believe that he was the person, the go-to person, when we had some feedback to give. For example, the war spear, the horses, the lances, every combat-related stuff, we will go to him and tell him, hey, I think this is not right, you should change this, blah, 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 right? And then somebody would receive that feedback and do something about it.
Well, Kifit is not the only one point of contact. I believe it's just a good point of contact because he should be able to understand you way better. But we also got Bobik. We also got a general support. Help me MMO at lifeisfiddle.com, fiddle.com. So there are many ways, and you can always spam me. There are many ways of feedback, so I'm not trying to to reroute all the feedback on one person.
We're also not. I'm sorry. We're also not trying to dictate how the game is to be run or how the game has to be developed. But when we are confronted with stuff like this kind of overpowered stuff that sometimes get implemented,
it's completely fine. Of
we
course,
just want to be listened.
That's how it's working. You say like. War spear is OP because it cannot be parried, it can be easily hit and damaged for a lot. We just we are checking out, asking Kifit's opinion and some other players who are playing or someone within our team. We're going to check it out by ourselves and we see, it's overpowered. It's true, and that's how we fix it. And we are going to remove its ability to be unparried. For instance, and because there are a lot of suggestions, a lot of reports that are, we don't believe they are true. They are not significant. And in that case, we receive them, but we don't do nothing or just postpone it.
Is there any questions you would like to make to the community? Go ahead.
If Boar Spear is overpowered, I know that it is. And I know that everyone is talking about Lancers versus and all that stuff. We have issues in our GitLab, and we're going to fix them soon. So, we know it's not good. It's OP, and we're going to fix it.
I see. So, any questions? Make us questions too. We'd like to answer to you, and there's a lot of people here eager to speak with you also.
Well, if that concludes general questions to me, I'm fine. If you want specific questions about combat,
yes, there are a lot of
why I'm
specific.
here.
Exactly, there are a lot of specific questions regarding combat. That's why I'm asking if you have any questions for us, because you told us that you wanted to ask us.
I will do it after I will answer almost all the questions.
Okay, so
let's continue with your questions.
Okay.
And then we'll,
so I have some questions here regarding new features, for example.
Okay.
So, hold up, I just closed the document for no reason at all. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. So, Allegra, which is one of the Life is Feudal members, is asking if are there any plans to increase the detail of the weekly dev blogs so the community has a better idea of what a certain department are up to each week, like being able to have specific information on what is being worked on in that week?
Short answer, probably no. The reason behind it is because it's really hard to keep developer blogs informative without making them too bored. I mean, for instance, one feature takes weeks to develop, like architecture things or database structure things or basic algorithms, and it's a job that takes time, and there's nothing fancy to say about it. I mean, we're developing the instant battles. We're developing instant battles. We're fixing bugs.
Of course.
we're still developing instant battles. That's all we can say. And of course, we can provide a list of functions and methods that were developed, but I mean, it will take a lot of time to explain algorithm or anything.
Yeah, this is just the reflex of how eager people are to know.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I do understand that, and that's why I'm trying to explain it. So there is nothing fancy in day-to-day development. I mean, there are a lot of work that is done that cannot be explained unless you are like a really coding person.
Okay, so next question is that made from Agathias. He's asking, it's a rather an interesting question because we've seen these kind of things in other games. Do you guys plan on putting stuff like guillotines or cages in Life is Feudal at some point? You weren't expecting this.
Yeah. Everyone is trying to possess some other players and do something nasty with them. I can expand that list with sex and rape and guillotines and caging and prisons and dungeons and slavery and so on and so on. My personal opinion, those mechanics can be fun, but on a long term, first of all, I don't think that they can work properly unless both parties agree with that. I mean, if you are captured, you cannot do anything. That's the point of being captured, being tortured, being sentenced somewhere. You cannot do much. You must stay in the place and suffer. And well, nobody likes to do it. And if you are a role-playing person, you might play that role. But if you are average general player, you will just log off, and that quickly ruins that feature. So you capture someone, you are like forcing him to move in chains, but he just logs off, and either you are playing with an empty avatar or he just disappears.
Okay, I have a person here that wants to make you a question also.
Yeah,
hello.
Hello?
So, what I was asking before, I was talking to Saxon about it earlier before you joined, is how much content do you have like ready to be put into the game as soon as you're like happy with the foundation that you've built? So, I'll give you an example. The DayZ developers, they basically decided that the foundation that they had for the game wasn't good enough, so they had to rewrite the code, and Now, as soon as they've finished with the new engine, the new player controller and stuff that they've got, they're going to add a lot of content as soon as that's done. Are you in that kind of same position, that you're going to add a lot of content as soon as you're happy with the foundation that you have? Or is everything kind of still a work in progress? Or is there a lot of stuff that's ready to go in?
It's hard to say. Well, first of all, we are far higher than the foundation. I mean, we have a foundation and a lot of features already in the game. So we already have a lot of content, and rewriting an engine from scratch is not an option for us in no way. That's a fact. It's about content that we have hidden behind our sleeves. I don't think there is anything much that you don't know, that you are not aware of. I mean, we always open and we explain what we are working on and when you can expect it. So I don't think that there will be much of surprises. And we plan to release content like as soon as it's done and save the life.
Okay.
So we don't have I don't know. We don't have ships that we are secretly working on, and they will appear in September.
Okay. So I got a nuke for you now. A very important question regarding the encryption of some certain game files. I think you know what file I'm talking about. Okay. So
and console also.
And console. So the question basically is, when we will close and encrypt game files as well as close the console, which is a constant source of new exploits and abuses. When are you going to do that, or are you even going to do that?
No, of course we are going to do that, and we will do that. I can't promise you a certain date, but I hope it will be done before September, maybe late October or late September. So it's relatively soon. We have a basis, we have some code already written, we know we have the vision and architecture, so it takes only and the person that will do that, once he's finished with battles, he will continue doing it. And it should be quite soon.
Okay. You understand? Do you understand the reason behind people using that file to start with?
Yeah, we are talking about night vision and
yes,
some cases it's radar.
Yeah, no, especially the night vision. Do you understand why people use it?
Yes. I've seen it. I'd like also say about night vision and client-side hacks. Everyone must understand that there is no way how you can protect client 100%.
Of course.
And even AAA games, they always struggle against it, and not always successful. They might be able to muffle them, just to make them less obvious, and so the general players population do not see them, but they are still there. For instance, if you ever played Counter-Strike Go or any other Counter-Strike,
yes, there will always be.
Yeah, you can always see an obvious cheater that just stands in the middle of map and makes 180 degrees turn around and headshot. And
but we have to admit that the source of this file being created, shit, has a lot more to do with not only be able to get a leverage for the enemy, but because of in the community's opinion, because of a bad decision. People didn't really want. Again, we're not looking to change the game. We're not the developers, nor we are creating a game. But it's still our opinion, right?
I completely understand.
Okay.
That's why we are closing that way, and that's why creating a night vision or client-side hacks will be way harder.
So this specific file and this specific hack is just, it has a very sensible reason, which is people really don't agree with how night was implemented. People say that it is too dark, it's not realistic at all, but I don't think if the word realism applies here, but it's basically, it doesn't meet the community's interests. And that is why this file was created, and that's why the majority of the community, I can almost say, ensure you, even if those guys down there all deny it, they're all using it. So at least some of them. But
so sorry, I'm still under impression that I believe we even made a poll about what type of night.
Exactly. Have you seen how many votes that poll had?
I can find it anywhere, but I believe we didn't do something against the community, and I believe most people voted for dark nights.
Well, I can agree with you in that point. That poll was a little bit, well, it wasn't publicized like it should be, I guess. But I'm not even criticizing that. It's just that maybe the poll was a good idea and the night was implemented and people didn't really thought that that kind of night would be beneficial in the long end.
Okay, let's make a quick poll. Just everyone please write in chat either dark or light. If you want dark night as it is now, just write dark. If you want light night, just write light.
That's actually really good.
So it seems like 50-50, maybe more light.
Yeah. Well, it's not more light, or it's not more light, or it's not actually only that. There's more into it. It's not as straightforward. There's people voting like 10 times.
Guys,
yeah.
but you have the feeling like it can still be dark, right? As dark as it is right now. But do you know for example, how you have your cloudy days? The cloudy days in Life is Feudal. It gets a bit dark, but you can still, see something. I think the light effects overall can be a little bit improved in order to have still a dark night, but a more beneficial night.
I believe it's either or either we're doing dark nights and where you're unable to see anything from the distance behind your light source, or we are doing lighter nights and people will increase their gamma brightness. And,
that's really good to know.
In that case, it will be quite lighted up, and they will see everything. So it's either or, and as far as I see now, their opinions are all different. I mean, some people are typing in dark, some people are typing in light. Maybe we'll just make different weather types of weather with different types of
I see.
light. Or it might be an option.
So another big question is CVT5 actually opening tomorrow?
Hopefully. Well, we just launched a new version on production base, on production servers. Q&A quality assurance should test it probably tomorrow morning. Right now I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, development people in Moscow, so I'm talking about European time. Tomorrow morning they should test it. And
okay, one thing that a lot of people say about how things are announced in Life is Feudal is that we would be more okay if you just tell us we're not ready. Rather than tell us that you are ready and then again you're not.
Yeah. Well, that's completely true, and thank you for reminding about that. It's our triple fault with instant battles, and I'm really thankful for everyone who came. And I'm really sorry that we failed you and you were unable to do it.
It's not like you've been failing us, and that'll be my other question, is that are you happy with the progress you've been making? If you look back now to the state that your game currently is and how much people are enjoying the game, and they are here today, just spamming the chat in front of you.
That's we're actually getting closer to the reason why I created that, why I asked everyone to take a part in that game. Is I just wanted to share my vision of the game and my progress and how I think it stands out, and then I would like to hear your opinions if you agree or not, and if not, what do you think about our game? That's the main reason I wanted to talk with you.
Okay.
And of course, I do understand that you are hardcore fans of Life is Fiddle, but I do expect that since you are fans of Life is Fiddle, you will not hesitate to tell the truth.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's also important.
We're the ones who we're gonna lose our girlfriends because of the game.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So I have Beric here. He wants to ask you a question. He says it's really important.
Yeah. Hello.
I'm just curious about your plans in regards to in-world content. So in terms of like traveling the world and interactions, stuff you can do in the world itself. I mean, do you have any plans or information you can give us on anything like that?
Information on traveling around the servers?
Yeah, no, like in the world itself. Do you plan on adding in-world content, like stuff you can do in the world when you travel? Because I mean, I'm talking in terms of like resource distribution or things you can find in certain areas, things that maybe make territorial warfare more interesting, stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
I believe I understand. We already got a regional systems, regional resources system where you can actually find certain resources in certain parts of the map if you want to craft an advanced armor or weapon. So I believe we kind of have it. Also, in the next stage, no, not on CBT, on the next stage, you will see villages of natives. They will be empty for now, but later on we plan to how's it called to create residents of those villages.
Oh, I see.
For some PvE content,
okay.
And you might expect some ambushes of natives while you're traveling.
Yeah, that's a really great response. I thank you for that. And I mean, basically, I mean, one thing I want to get at as well is, I mean, when I say in-world content, I mean, for example, say there's a point of interest that someone pointed out in the chat, you know, and people go to those zones and maybe there's something there of importance that people try to fight over as well, you know, things that make people want to go there and fight each other, like more or less dangerous zones, you know, on the map itself.
Yeah, I understand what you are talking about. We considered some idea of landmarks, but we just decided to scrap it in order to preserve more freedom of the map. I mean, we don't want to block a certain part of the map with some place looking for a rock or mountain or waterfall, but it will have to prevent terraforming and building in that area, or otherwise it will be destroyed by someone else.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, in my opinion, I want less of such places in our game in order to have more land available to players. But yes, that's true. There is a downside of that, is that that our map is more, I don't know, more dull, not so fancy, not so rich with landmarks and different events as it's any other static MMO. Like in Guild Wars 2, for instance, if you ever played it, you just traveling around and you see landmark here, jumping puzzle here, event here, or global event here, and it's all like...
Exactly, yeah, I understand. It's like influencing people.
It's like a theme park, you know, and it's also fun. I agree with you, but it's not the vision of my game. We're going to have native villages that will block part of the land, that will be designed by us, that will look interesting, that will attract those who want PvE and those who want to have PvP over PvE. So those will be some kind of...
Okay, of course. And thank you for that.
So Dragmar has also another question, big important question towards instant battles and such.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that was mentioned at one point in Discord, and I think you had a answer for it there, and I just kind of want to remind you of that and ask if you could possibly shed some more light on it. And the original question is, is there anything that's going to stop somebody from declaring war on everybody? Because right now, in the current state, there are guilds that declare war on everybody else, basically to get around the alignment system. Is there going to be anything stopping them from doing that? And I think your reply was there's going to be a cost to waging war. So my question today is, can you add anything to that? Like, what type of cost are we looking at? Because if it's just like that instance battle monument that we have to put down, if that's the only cost, I don't think that's going to stop it, because those guilds aren't after the instance battles. They just want to get around the alignment loss when doing raiding.
Well, in my opinion, if some guild will wage war on all other guilds, and if they will cause a lot of troubles, I'm quite sure that some guilds will just ally and wipe them out. And once their monument will be destroyed, they will have to spend some time to rebuild it and wage wars again. I don't really think it should be a trouble. I do understand that some people want to be, be a player killer guilds, and that's why how they are avoiding the alignment loss system. But still, I believe if they will cause a lot of trouble, they will be wiped.
Well, basically what people are doing now is that they're making alts, and they're making an alt claim, an alt guild, and declaring war on everybody. So even if you take that monument out, they still have a fully functioning base somewhere else with a lot of resources, which nobody really knows who that
Where
is.
it is, yeah.
So you
It's not
can't
solving
take
the
out
problem.
the source. They can easily get the resources to build a new monument if you take it out, because they already have a functioning base somewhere with a different name that you cannot track anywhere.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, maybe it's a good point to think about it. Honestly, I wasn't aware about such way of exploitation.
Just to complement that, do you remember the map I sent you?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine one of those alliances. They create a guild part of one of those alliances. They create a monument, like just a tier 1 monument, somewhere in the opponent's territory, and they just wage war against everybody, because it doesn't cost to make a monument. It's just a couple preparations and the bones and whatever, and then you just throw a necklace there, and it's supported like 10,000 points, 100,000 points, and it's done. And then you can just fight against whoever you are. You don't lose alignment because you're at war with everybody, and there's no there's no penalty.
Who you really are.
Yeah, there's no penalty there. Nobody knows who you are. It's game breaking, because if you have a monument, the monument should be so expensive that you could only have that monument or a couple others. If you can just easily make monuments all over the map, you can just declare war on whoever you want, and nobody will even know who you are. That's happening at this moment in the MMO.
Yeah, that's really important, and I agree completely with you. That's a good point. We'll definitely do something about it.
Okay.
I feel
it could be an easy. It could be as easy as that you have to pay a bit more maintenance point per war you're in, or something like that, just to make it so that being at war with the entire server is like impossible.
It's plenty of options, but
yeah, there's a lot of alternatives. I'm sure you have the judgment to find the best. Any questions so far, Bobik?
No. I just made a note.
Okay.
Think about it. And
what was your first impression when you saw that map that I sent you?
Well, that it looks legit.
Yeah. Did you have any idea that that's what's happening right now?
Oh well, I had such idea, and I mean, I'm glad that it looks the same way as it looks in many other PvP MMO games that were out there or are out there. I mean, like EVE Online or Shadowbane or Darkfall or some other games when there is actual assets you can build and claim, and alliances that you can build, and they all bunch up together into one zone, and we can see different zones, different alliances in different parts of the map that are fighting each other. So far it looks correct to me. I mean, it's working as intended, and I'm really happy about it.
Does it give you like inspiration or like ideas?
Yeah. It's working as intended, and it's always happy to hear and to know.
Okay, there's a lot of going on behind you. So let me speak about one particular thing. I never heard about this. I never thought about this, but it's actually interesting. It's about crouching. Are you planning adding this into the game?
Oh, yes.
Crouching.
Like crouching, the idea was to implement climbing mode that will also lower your profile. We've spent some time on brainstorming
I see.
the implementation.
Your voice is kind of cutting out, by the way. Your voice is cutting out, so...
Yes, so we spent some time to find out some solutions, some architectural solutions of how we can do that. And truth to be told, it seems like that idea will take like a couple of months.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just curious. Is it possible to add it in the game at some point?
Yes, there's nothing impossible. As I said, we have access to all source code of our engine, and we are working with it for a couple of years. So we can implement everything. It's just a matter of time.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that's just a matter of time and priorities. And that's the main problem with the game right now. That there are a lot of features and ideas and things that have to be done, and very few limited amount of us developers. Let's continue to answer questions, and then I'll to just make a short speak about my vision of the game development and so on, and then I'd like to ask some questions.
Okay. Let me see. There's a lot of questions here. You spoke about siege equipment in the last Q&A. You spoke about, for example, this is your words. You said that at the very least you were at some point going to add ladders and battering rams. Is that?
That's right. Ladders will require a climbing mode to get on them, most probably, and that's why they will be kind of postponed. And as about battering rams, so we still consider it, and I believe it should not be that hard.
Okay.
Especially once we're going to implement those horse-pulled carts. After that, I don't think there's problems with that. And horse-pulled cars, how?
Yeah, I forgot about that completely. Wow. I got a question about horse carts. I think it's the main question, apart from all the other main questions. This is the main, which is how fast are horse carts going to be?
How far?
Because we saw a video of horse carts that you guys shared with us, and it didn't seem like it was really fast, and it was being guided by player. It's obviously alpha test of the horse cart and something.
Yeah, yes. Well, right now I can say that we're getting closer to the beta test of horse-pulled carts. There are still problems with physics and like smooth of movement but the gameplay part is almost finished. I mean, getting stuff into the cart, getting stuff outside of the cart, getting horse into the cart, pulling horse outside of the cart, and making horse following you, or just to sit on the cart by yourself. Or almost all of those things are almost done.
I see.
It's only physics that might have left, and that's always the toughest part.
So, main question also is that what's your priority right now? Like your first priority in the game?
To release it, to make it complete and stable.
Yes, but for the next, let's say, the next months, what's we're working at?
Okay. Let's say that concludes. Part of questions to me. I will answer it, and then
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I will speak. I will answer it in a more extensive way, and then I will ask my questions. I will ask them on the go.
Okay. I'm also giving permissions for people to speak at some point. Yes.
Okay.
Rick.
Yes.
Just quickly check Discord, please.
Okay.
What priorities? Right now, as I mentioned, our main priority is to stabilize current version of MMO. Well, in your own, of course, because I remind you, once we fix something gameplay-wise or performance-wise in MMO, it will also be fixed on your own, and vice versa, because it's the same code base, and only difference is when we release the patches, when we spend some time to prepare them and release. So right now we're working on game stabilization and finishing all those features and fixing bugs that we know of.
I see.
Currently, plan is to keep CBT number 5 for as long duration as needed until we reach a certain level of stability and amount of bugs that will be adequate, not overwhelming, and there will be no game-breaking bugs or performance issues. And then we plan to make it's a change of plans. We'll make a separate announcement sometime later, but I'll just share it with you right now. We plan to make Steam Early Access part of that. It is actually when it is when all LiFKarl Your Own players will be able to log in. But we will not open beta to everyone as we promised. Like, it will not be free on a newbie island with a ticket you have to buy. It will still be closed. So only those who have tickets will be able to participate in that.
Okay, can you define what's the name of that phase when that happens?
No, Steam Early Access, I believe that's the
okay.
Maybe we'll come up with some better name, I don't know. But the rest is
yeah.
I mean, it's still another sub phase. So
it's just so people here they know, you know.
It's not an OBT. That's the point. It's not an OBT because we are not letting everyone. We're only letting those who have a ticket on LiFKarl Your Own or who have bought the pack.
Okay, that's really cool.
And truth to be told, of course, we're working, mostly I am working on monetization techniques, and as I always mention, I'm avoiding pay to win with always
the potions to enlarge people.
The potions to do what?
To enlarge people, like the April's Fool video you made announcing.
Yeah. It's not a pay to win. You just became 10 times stronger and higher, and can knock down castles with your knees. Yeah. With your feet. That's why I actually wanted to speak with you. I just want to see your vision of the game, of our game, how it stands compared with other games, and how.
That's a good question.
What do you think about it? And how much do you value it? And when everyone will be answering that question. Well, not everyone. Whoever wants to answer that question.
There's a lot of people here that can answer that for you.
Yeah. I would be glad if you can aggregate the feeling of other players. I mean, others that you have known.
Okay, Dragmar, do you have an opinion about this game comparing to other games?
Well, I've never played any other game quite as much as this game, so I guess that's speaking of itself.
So it speaks for itself.
I have like, what, 4,000 hours played? I don't even... Maybe I have that in World of Warcraft, but that's over, what, like 12 years?
Okay, Boz, do you have anything?
No, guys, so just let me... First of all, I just want to share my vision, and the main question will be how much do you agree with it? That's the point I want to... understand if I understand it well or not. So, in my vision, what we have created here and keep developing is some kind of gourmet food, you know, like some kind of exquisite restaurant in the middle of Paris that sells you oysters. Might be pricey, but that's the only place where you can eat that type of oysters. While there are a lot of, let's say, casual games that are acting like a McDonald's, and there are some other games that are acting like a normal restaurant. in my well, I do understand that I am very subjective here because it's the game of my dream. But I think that that game is really special and standing out from aside from other games. And it's not like another game you get hooked into it, play like 10, 20, 50 hours, and then you go for the next game. Because like I know I'm quite sure that most of you have a Steam accounts, and maybe most of you have like 100 of different games on your accounts. Yeah. And I believe you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about another games that you play, you get hooked into for a couple of hours, and then you. So that's my vision of the game, and I just want to see if you share that opinion or not. And again, it just I don't understand that I'm very subjective. I don't understand that that it's how I feel about the game, and don't hesitate to tell the truth and be straightforward.
This is the kind of game where you have to invest a little bit of time, opposite to other games that are more casual. You spend like 10 hours on the game and then you never play the game again, or you rarely play the game.
I think if you want to compare it to, like, for example, you have a loved one, you know, maybe, or someone you get to know, you know, maybe at first everything's fine, but then as you get to know their little personal habits and things like that, you find things that you don't like about it. And I think that's kind of the issue we run into with Life is Feudal sometimes. It's not that we don't like the game, it's that the more you play it and the more you invest that time into it, you notice small things and you pick up upon them. I wouldn't say there's a lot in the game that's necessarily terrible. I think the game's a great game, but I think there's a lot of polishing that can be done as well from a non-biased perspective.
Yeah.
From what perspective, sorry?
From a non-biased perspective. Yeah.
There is someone wanted to answer.
What, sorry?
Yeah, I just saw in chat that someone wanted to answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Hoshiko wanted to ask a question next. He's next on the list. If you could.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I just want to.
He was explaining, yeah. Go ahead, Bobik.
Yeah. Easton the Forged.
Yeah, Easton wanted to answer Bobik's question.
Hoshiki, are you there?
Hold up, sorry.
You must be muted.
Yeah, I'm giving him. There's so many people, you have to give me a second. I got him. You there, Oshikwa?
Finally. Thanks, man. I'm kind of nervous. Been a long time. Hey, Bobik. So, I have quite a general question for you about the process of game design in your team. I think you will see it coming. So first, let me just explain my question. It's going to be short. So I think we will all agree that this game has always been advertised as a game that offers a quote-unquote, and I insist on the quote-unquote, realistic, but a better word for it would be immersive, right, experience. Yet, during the entire development process, or at least what I've seen of it, it looks like you are torn between making features grounded in logic and features that are more straightforwardly, I don't even know if that's English, orientated for gameplay, that are more arcade-like. So that's like the same. That's like the same opposition between, let's say, Battlefield and Arma. You know, that's. I guess we're all familiar with this opposition. A recent example are the bonuses linked to armor types. You know, like leather armor making your bolts penetrate armor quicker, that kind of stuff. So I realize it might be difficult to answer, and each player will have some trouble truly placing himself into one of these categories with a lot of assurance. But my question is, what type of player are you really trying to appeal to? Those that want an immersive experience, or those that want fun above any immersion?
That's a good question. That's also really important. So, well, first of all, of course, we want. I want to create a game that will be suitable for as many players as possible. And that's actually that's actually one of the reasons why we have such a logo. it actually represents Ethical as a let's say peaceful crafter role player type of players, and Sword that represents a PvP combat competitive player. If we're talking about those two groups. And it was always my idea to get as many different types of players in the same world as possible. But if we're comparing realism with gameplay, I mean, in that case, I prefer to pick gameplay. So, for instance, back in the youth of our project, back in 2010, 11, we had a guy. It was an enthusiasm period when we had no salaries or investor or anything, and there were a lot of guys who helped us on an enthusiasm basis. And there were one of such guys who pretended to be Storkan. Well, he was like writing a lot of books. He wasn't like a professor or anything. He just liked that era, and and we spent many hours on user debates. He said that leather armor was not in Middle Age. Because archaeologists they never found leather armor, and since they never found it, it didn't exist. That's a principle of archaeology, according to him. And when I said that we need we have 25 skills, we have 5 types of armor, we need a 5th type of armor, and leather armor is fine, and we know about Roman legends, blah 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 blah. Well, it was a huge waste of time, and it ended up we have a leather armor, and I don't really know the answer on it, if it's true, if leather armor really existed or not in that period. Gameplay needed that leather armor, and we implemented it. And when gameplay meets realism, I personally prefer gameplay in mod. But of course,
yeah.
Let me finish. But of course, we are trying to combine it and make it
find the balance.
Yeah. That's right. But still, you don't have to pee or poo in our game. It will be super realistic, but there's no gameplay value in it.
Yeah, that would be too far. Carl, by the way, fuck off with the plate armor. Thank you.
Okay. So,
thank you, Bobik.
Bobik wanted to talk to Easton before. I think Rick kind of misunderstood what you're asking, but Easton was replying to one of your messages, so I'm going to unmute him now, so he can ask that.
I believe he wanted to provide his vision of the game, and everyone is encouraged to share his opinion.
Okay,
nice. Okay,
that's nice.
Easton, now talk.
Okay, just checking. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So yeah, I just wanted to respond on how you started this part of the meeting, in which you said, well, you kind of refer to this game being kind of a niche game, like specific for a certain kind of player. And I think the game is doing that quite well, because you have a good balance of crafting, you have a good start to PvP. I mean, obviously a lot of suggestions were made to PvP in itself, but I wanted to focus more on as well on what Barrett mentioned, and I don't think we got to the point of that, because we talked about landmarks, but I think it could be more focused on possibly secondary objectives for people, because we have the crafting, we have the guild and territory control, but I think we're missing a part of incentive to that territory control, and that's maybe something to be considered in the long run, to have more secondary goals to the initial things we already have in the game. So I think the basis is already there, but we're missing that secondary layer of depth to the game.
I understand what you're talking about, and I actually agree with you. And if anyone has ideas, well, I'm quite sure that everyone has a lot of ideas, but if you think that something can be done relatively, fast and easier, feel free to drop in such suggestions.
Sure, what would be the... Yeah, but aside from dropping the ideas now, because I don't want to take too much time, how would be the best way to address those ideas would it be through the forum so that it could be an open discussion, or would you like to have those private? What is your preference?
As usually we have a suggestion. That's another part of our what is bad about our game. No, not bad. It's our omen of our game is that our game is complex. It trying to create a whole world, and many players they see they want some features in that world that think that it will make game better, and that's fine. There are a lot of things we can do with our game, but it only takes time and effort. And I mean, if compared with other games, one is have, for instance, just some random platformer, side scroller platformer,
yeah.
So no one expects that you can craft there, that you can build, or you can terraform, or anything. So in most cases, people see that it's just a platformer. Just add some new bosses and some new levels, and it will be fine. But
exactly. No, something I wanted to say in conclusion, sorry for interrupting you, to add to what I said earlier, I think one thing on the short term you could do is closely observe the resource gain and resource sinks in the game, because at the moment, obviously, we're going to be faced with instant battles, which is going to sink a lot of resources as well. I don't know if people realize how much resources it's going to take, but once we get accustomed to that, then there's still a lot of resources being put into the world. And I'm not saying there's not enough going out now, but it might be a good idea to monitor it closely.
Absolutely. That's absolutely, and we are also working on tools to monitor and to gather statistics and monitor everything. That's absolutely. That's important. And well, let me continue. So, and that's the doom or ill omen of our game, that there are a lot of different players, and almost everyone got his own original idea, and most of them are valid and will be really interesting. But the fact is that there are a lot of different people. They expect a lot from the game, and when they don't see it in the game, and when they see that their suggestion is not being implemented, well, they get unhappy about it.
Exactly.
And I can understand that, but on the other hand, I just want you to understand us. We have a very limited team. I don't know, typical MMOs created with 10 times bigger budgets, or with maybe 10 times bigger development. And since our initial start and even till now, even after release of Life is Settled Your Own, we always have to cut features, cut quality sometimes. Unfortunately, that's true. In order to make more features, or make more quality in some other features. Like we always have to balance our forces to reach something, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have, like, say, pips in the game, or natives, or 100 players. Oh no, we don't have ships in the game or something like that, because we have to focus on some other things. And many suggestions. So there is a part on our site about their suggestions, and horse pulled cards was actually one of suggestions that was suggested by someone, and we're still working on it. And there is a long list of other suggestions. But if you really think that you have a super awesome suggestion that will raise the gameplay value of the game, and will not take like years to implement, you're always free to use any type of communication. Like, you can report it on help at mmolifeset.com, you can report it to Kifit, you can report it directly to me, you can drop it on suggestions and spend some time on discussions and finalize your suggestion and drop it on suggestions or to me or somewhere.
Okay.
On it.
That's good to know. So, anything else?
Well, I just want to get more understanding. So, do you really think, and do you think that players that you know, players that you heard of, or players you communicate with, that they see our game as something like special and standing out. And there is also another straightforward question: if you see that our game is something special, do you think that I don't know? Do you think it's worth it? You know that starter packs were quite high price, and I just think, do you think it was worth the price?
If it's worth the price. Okay.
Yes, worth the price. Yes.
Well, let's see what people say. What do you guys think? Is it worth the price? Definitely.
Yeah,
yes. I mean, you go into a closed beta with that in mind, that there's going to be problems. So I think the price was fair for that as well. And it was, I mean, you go in to test it, right? So
I think games in general are a bit funny about when it comes to spending money. I mean, like, some people would be like, oh, 10 quid, 10 pounds, 10 euros for an early access game. Yet you go for a night out on a Saturday for 2 hours and you could spend £50, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, I think £20, I think it's what I paid for the game when it first came out, roughly. And you sink 1,500 hours into it. I mean, that's pretty good value for money, you know?
Well, yeah, you must know that we plan to implement an in-game shop, and it will have contain a lot of customization. And my question is, how you, core of our fan base, how you will react if you will see certain skins pricing like 50, 60, up to 100 bucks? I mean, it will not be $5, $2, or $20, like $5, $10, $15, like in some other games. There will be like really expensive ways. And so the question is straightforward: do you think it will prevent you from buying such skins or not?
Well, the most hardcore of us will buy the skins we think look cool anyway, and giving it a higher price range will make it so that less people buy them, which will also make them stand out a lot more in the world. So it's like, those of us that really want them, those of us that have sunk like 4,000 hours into the game already, we're more than willing to pay a bit more, just because the amount of time per dollar is so low in this game compared to most of the other games we have.
I personally think it depends on how they work. If it's just a skin for one player, or versus, like, if it's armor skins, is it for your account, like all your characters, or is it for that one character? Like,
yeah, let me answer this question. It will be for per character. I cannot promise you that it will be for all regions. I mean, Europe, United States, and these countries, and Brazil, they will be in different regions, and skins might be different in those regions. But at least it will be for all of your characters, and it will work as a reskin of your currently equipped armor. So if you want to have, when you equip a full plate, 90 level of 60 level, it will look like it looks now. But you will be able to reskin it if you have a skin, and it will look better. But it will retain all the stats, of course. And if you will be killed and looted, of course you will be naked, and you will have to craft a new full plate armor to reskin it later. But skin will be with you on your account. You buy it only once, and then you skin all the full plates that will be on all of your characters.
Just in relation to the shop, I mean, do you plan on having, items that cost less as well? I mean, is it going to be like higher end Spectrum, or is it going to be, stuff that costs less that maybe isn't as appealing, and then stuff that's more expensive that, is more appealing?
Well, of course, I'm trying to build up a shop that will have different range of prices for everyone. Of course, lower prices will be some kind of it's called consumables, but it's not like consumables. Let's say for like power hour or how to say it, trading post increase.
I see what it is. Yeah, to increase the capacity of the trading.
Yeah, to increase the capacity to if you want to claim a larger area or for a private claim, you will also have to pay a bit with a premium currency. And that's actually another good question. I know there are a lot of debates, but really straightforward question. In my opinion, Power Hour is not like a really pay-to-win mechanics. When I'm talking about Power Hour, it was back in Ultima Online days, when you had a role, I believe. Once you activate it, you could activate it only once 24 hours, and it gives you 1 hour boost to your skill progression.
Oh,
So
I see
when
what
you
it
go,
is.
yeah, when you came back from work, you just activate it. For 1 hour, you have like 2-3 times increased skill progression. But if you are grinding like non-stop, you cannot activate it more often than once in 24 hours. So the question is,
a good question it would be like, is that item going to be also tradable? Can I buy that item and trade
no,
it
no,
to
no, no, no,
another
no.
person?
It will be only for your account, only for your character actually. You cannot give
A
it
lot
to
of people
someone else.
have been saying that XP boost is definitely pay to win, but when you were explaining it like that, when it's like only 1 hour per day, so it's not like the larger guilds like they can't buy that for everybody and push it 24/7, right? Then it doesn't sound that bad actually.
I think it's.
I mean, the level of grind, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the level of grind, I think it's pleasing to most people to have a feature like that to bypass some of that anyway. And I think, as Dragma pointed out, the fact that you can't trade it on in the economy is also a great thing because that creates inflation as well in the economy in game.
It might help you keep your girlfriend and your wife too.
That's life. Or just you get one out of there or both.
I only need Podrick.
As Hashika just pointed out in the chat, does introducing an XP boost not kind of make an in-game mechanic of the food multiplier slightly redundant?
Well, it will add to food mechanics. I mean, it will stack with food bonus. So if you have a high quality food and you add power hour, your skill raise will be like die high.
Yeah, one important question
you can have low quality food and then boost, and you will be with the same progression as someone that doesn't have a boost but have a high quality food. So
yeah, if
it's viable.
One question that Sharana asked is what kind of boost are we talking about? Are we talking ×2, ×3, more, less?
×2, ×3. I haven't decided yet, but it's definitely not 10%, and it's definitely not X10.
Please don't make it OP, because to be honest, mate, it is pay to win that. So I would suggest not making it too powerful, because then it is.
Well, yeah, again, we're talking about 2-3 times bigger, something like that.
Yeah, that's alright. Yeah.
So when you say 2 or 3 times in works of skill food, does that mean it gives you, if it's 2 times, the same equivalent as eating skill food that gives you 2 times, or is it you have ×5 on food and now suddenly you got ×10? Like.
Oh yeah, you're talking about how they going.
Like, does it actually multiply what you already have?
No, they should multiply what you already have.
Okay.
So it's based on, if you have good food, it'll be based on that. It won't be based on the base 1.
Well, again, if you have X5 on food and X2 on boost, you will have X10 in total your skill boost.
Yeah.
If you have X1 on food and X2 on boost, you will have X2.
Yeah, so it's multiplied, not added, I guess.
Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree in saying it's pay to win, though, honestly, Boz, because the thing is, like,
it's OP. That's 10 times.
I don't think
OP,
so,
mate. It is. It's totally overpowered, in my opinion.
Well, it's still, if it's 2x, it's still, that is basically the speed we've been playing on now, which isn't, it's not overly powerful.
That's right.
That doesn't feel, it's not, you can't just...
Can I explain pay to win just very quickly? So I don't want to dwell on it, because pay to win is where you can pay and get a serious advancement through paying extra money in game. And this is what this is, because you can make really big advancements by paying money. And that's what this is. We all know there's a big race for skill food, right? So if you pay to get some more advanced farming, you pay to unlock things, and the other guy who's not paid could be like a whole week behind you, because he's got to wait for the next harvest before he can get enough wheat to to unlock advanced farming, but you've paid for your farmer to unlock advanced farming. So basically, you could be gaining a whole week or days just by paying. So I think to times it by what you've got existing, it would, personally, in my opinion, that is overpowered.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point
on our side, but maybe there could be a middle road. Would you consider releasing perhaps this boost in a later stage than the initial settling stage? So
that's a good point.
Yeah, at that point we would, most of us, the big groups that are present here today, would already have the ability to create the max skill food. So
I think what Easton says there is actually a good point, because that will allow people that are late starters to catch up to those that are already, already settled and everything's developed. But it won't affect the initial rush.
I think that's a great idea, honestly. Yeah, releasing it after a while.
Well, like during official launch or something.
Well, during official launch, I believe I'm quite sure that most everyone who's here will have that boost anyway. That power hour currently is planned as a part of premium subscription, so I'm quite sure that almost everyone who I'm talking right now will have it because you have some kind of pack.
Yeah.
It promotes, I think, having it late as well. I'd personally buy an XP booster later to level up a second character, which then it actually promotes me wanting to get a second character because I'll use the XP boost. But I think for the initial arms race, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a tank rush for certain skills and things like that. The initial arms race, you need to be careful about making it pay to win.
While we're talking about monetization, can we also talk about alternate characters?
And what about alternate characters?
In my opinion, I feel like that would be a great way for you guys to make money, in the sense that I feel like alternate characters should be more expensive than less expensive, not only to synergize well with the alignment system, but also to limit griefing potential and things like what people were talking about earlier with making claims with their alts and things like that. So I know you've talked before about the price for alternate characters. In my opinion, I think it would be good if they were on the pricier side opposed to on the cheaper side.
So you want to say that if you buy one ticket for let's say $20, you think that additional tickets should cost the same amount or even more expensive?
Absolutely.
I think that if you buy one, like the cheapest slot should be like $20 or something, then the next one should be 30, and it increases all the way, or even from 20 to 40 to 60, or just doubles even every time, because having a lot of characters.
It will not work. The people will just create new accounts.
Yeah. You can just create a new account and buy.
Yeah, and we can never find out.
It should just have a static. It should just have a static price that's not.
It should be a bit higher than $20, I think.
I just don't think it should be $5 or $10, because then people are just going to make alts all the time, and they're not going to care about alignment.
Yeah, I think the price, maybe if the game's 20, then the additional character should be 20.
Okay.
But I think regardless, you also have to think of, like, I mean, if we're talking about alignment, etc., if people want to bypass that, if they're in the mentality that they want to find ways to abuse a system, they're going to do it regardless of the price, if that's really what they want to do. So maybe there's also things that could be changed within the system itself, instead of just saying, okay, it's more expensive to buy a character, and that means people won't do it anymore. But that's obviously not the case, because people always find a way to do it.
Well, truth to be told, I believe I speak about it some times ago. I personally do not want to remove everyone who's acting like player killer. In my opinion, the good way is how EVE Online, the amount of players we have in EVE Online. There are some certain villains that have like billions of ISK on their bounty on their head. Yeah, and they always add some spice to the game. Maybe it's less than 0.1% of all the population in the game, but they add some spice. So if there will be some players who want to act that way, and if community will not be able to withstand them, well, we will see. But I think the only few will want to pay for additional character just to abuse, and if that's going to actually cause any troubles.
Yeah, but for example, Eve has a very good mechanic to prevent players from abusing all characters. For example, if you have a main character on Eve and you want to level up your secondary character, you either have to stop the first queue on the main character or you have to pay to level up the secondary queue. So that doesn't solve the problem, but it's a filter to prevent everybody from doing it.
That's right. We just minimize it. That's right. That's why the price for addition ticket was implemented, and that's why actually all that crazy stuff with tickets but not slots.
Yeah, people will still give you money. Trust me, people will still throw money at you, but it will be just specific individuals doing that rather than everybody doing it for free.
That's right. That's right. It will
if
not
they want to
like,
do it, they have to pay you. That's basically
right. It should not be like in Rust when everyone is shooting everyone on site, but there will be some players, few amount of players that will do that.
But for like a PvP game, sorry, I just wanted to ask this quickly, Horton. For like a PvP game, do you feel like sometimes, I mean, we're discussing alignment at the moment as well, so I think this is appropriate, but do you feel like sometimes the alignment system is too negative? Because myself, personally, I'm a PvP player, you know, I like to kill, I like to go out and kill people, I like to do what I want to do as well, and I'm happy with the negative stuff as well. I don't mind if you know, I get a negative alignment because of it, you know, I deal with that, but at the same time, do you not feel like maybe it would be a nice idea to add some kind of positives to being a bandit too? Not just, you know, not just like, oh, they're bandits, you know, we shun them away. I mean, maybe it would be nice to have a feature that makes it nice to be a bandit as well as losing all those points when you die. Something like that. I don't know if you've ever considered that before, you know?
You get a red name.
I guess it's true. Yeah, red name.
You get loot. If you're a good bandit, you'll get loot. So.
That's true, that's true.
While we're on the subject of alignment, Deadman asked a question a while ago which hasn't been answered. Do you plan on changing how the alignment system works at all? And the example he's given here is, say for example, you're off claim and you see some guy coming up to you with the obvious intent that he wants to kill you. Yet you get into a fight and say you get the first hit on that guy. That means that you get the criminal debuff, right?
We've been there. Well, I believe I understand your question. It's simple in all the games. It's all the same story in all the games. Like someone is approaching to you with an obvious intent, and you making a first hit, and you became a criminal. I mean, it's working the same way in EVE Online, in Ultima Online. It works the same way, and I believe in Shadowbane too. I'd say it's rather normal. So you just stand in the block and you wait for him to hit you, or most probably he's just provoking you. And that's how it should work. And that's how it actually works in real life. You don't shoot someone in the head with your gun when you see that he's just running towards you. It's self-defense when he actually did something against.
But if someone runs up to you with a claymore and does like 120 damage and you've just got to let them do it, you can't fight back really. If you know what I mean. Like if you're just sitting there and someone comes up to you and you've got to let them hit you first, so they swing at you and you're half dead before you can actually fight back without taking any kind of alignment loss. So.
And if you're ranged.
Yeah. Rick, do you want to give Deadman permission to speak, because it was his point originally, and I might have brought up a point that he wasn't trying to make. So
I've got Deadman on the list. He's fourth. There's still questions to come before
him. Well, the question I asked was his question, so while we're on it, it might be worth him expanding on his point.
Okay.
Well, let me answer that question anyway. So there will be no way how we can see intentions in the game. So yes, I can understand that in some cases, like ranged characters or weak characters, or those that cannot parry or block normally, or those who don't want to clinch to receive less damage. There are plenty of options when you can receive damage, and it will be quite painful. But yes, that's your decision. Either you lose alignment or you lose some hit points. And I mean, there's nothing much we can do with that. I mean, there is no mechanics that can foresee the intention.
Keep friends around you.
Yeah, friends around you, that's fine. He hit you, he's a criminal, we'll go and kill him.
Exactly, that's the best solution.
And I suppose as well, with that in mind, that if that does happen, it will be a rare enough occurrence that if you are actually a good guy and you don't have any bad intentions and you've got good alignment, you should be able to just pray it away, because you'll get a very low alignment loss just from hitting the guy.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, yeah, it happens, it doesn't happen on every hour, it just happens maybe, it should happen like a couple of times in a week. And if you know that guy, that he is always constantly attacking you and you have to kill him in a self-defense, just don't go there. There are plenty of options how you can avoid that alignment loss or repair it after it. So I don't think.
Bobik, have you ever considered like changing the amount of alignment you lose depending on what you actually do though? Like for example, if you kill someone fully, you would lose more alignment, surely, but if you hit someone but don't actually kill them, should you not lose like way less alignment just for hitting the person?
It's really complicated. It's really complicated. I cannot see that system to work properly. I mean, the guy is training with his guildies, and they're constantly damaging him and damaging, and then you came in and shoot an arrow in his head, and you receive like 1 alignment loss, and his friends receive minus 100 alignment loss because they dealt like 1,000 of damage to him in the past 1 hour.
There's a lot of situations that it doesn't justify. So then, man, you were going to say
it will make the system even worse. It will make it, and that's one of the problems of our game. It will make our game even more complicated and even less easy to understand for players, for new players also.
Yeah, this is not Rust, right? It's a more in-depth game. It has a little bit more complexity, and that's why it gives you headaches. Because otherwise, it will just be another casual, kill them all.
That's right.
Can I talk now? Okay. Well, like basically, my entire point of the alignment loss is the fact that, like, when I've played the beta, usually I'm just minding my own business, and on my group's claim, watching the wall or whatever, then we get attacked, and then I get massive, in my opinion, quite a bit of negative alignment loss just for defending my own claim.
Wow, you should use trespassers. That's why we implemented.
But yeah, but I also have to do that every few seconds. Which puts my weapon away.
If you use trespassers, they'll be marked as a criminal for a long enough amount of time for you to be able to defend your claim. And it just takes 2 seconds to mark them as trespassers. And
but from what I've seen, I mark them, but it feels like it only lasts a few seseconds. So like I mark the person, I hit them, and I still get negative rep.
Can I just ask, can it be possible to have it automatic that if you're on your own claim, you don't take negative alignment because you are just defending your claim?
That's another complication, but according to how the system was designed, if you are a criminal and you made another criminal act, your criminal status will be increased way more. It's a geometric progression. So, for instance, that's how it should work. Maybe it doesn't work that way, and it's a bug, and we have to fix it.
Okay.
But the idea is, if you have been flagged as a criminal, as a trespasser, you should be a criminal for a couple of seconds. But if you will be flagged again during that period, you will be a trespasser for like 10 or 20 seconds.
It gradually increases.
Yes, gradually. Yeah, that's
okay.
I think
it should gradually increase.
The first one is too low because it's really hard to make another whistle before that one drops off.
Yeah, different people can mark as a trespasser. So if you're defending your base with multiple people can just mark as trespasser.
Yeah. The idea is behind the trespasser that it can be unprovoked. I mean, someone is traveling, he didn't pay attention where he's going, and you just saying, "Oh, okay, let's kill that guy," and you whistle it. He's a criminal, and you can kill him without alignment loss. In that case, he will see that he is being whistled on and being attacked. He will run away, and his criminal status will waive quite soon. That's the idea. But if he's staying on the claim and fighting you and so on, then his criminal status will increase gradually.
Yeah.
But to the point that whistling on someone, half the time I do it, here's what happens. They don't run away. They stay.
Yeah, okay, in that
Which
case,
is so minor.
In that case, his criminal status should increase gradually, and you should have no problem to kill him and lose any alignment.
I think the general concern about the alignment system is because there's a point of no return, right? Did you think about it already? The point of no return.
For example, is no return. If someone's on my claim and I'm fighting them, and they put the weapon away, boom, I can become a criminal if I kill that person.
Putting weapon away doesn't remove criminal status at all.
But that would hit me as more negative rep, and if I kill that person with their weapon down, does that not go
That
against
does
me?
not. It doesn't. Weapon status doesn't change anything with the criminal status. If he's a criminal, if he's a criminal and he's unarmed or resting or without weapon or whatever, if you kill him, you shouldn't lose any.
But I'm not saying he's a criminal. He's just like, for example, an alt running around, messing with stuff. And I attack him, he puts his weapon away, and I hit him again, and I kill him. Does that not affect me a lot more?
No, him putting the weapon away shouldn't have any difference.
Yeah, that's also what I'm trying.
Bobik, I've got a list of questions that I've been collecting from a while. So, but also before I ask the question, I'd like to ask you how long you actually have before you'd like to start talking about your vision and stuff. Because obviously, as much as we'd like it to be, our time here is limited. So, how many more questions from people do you think we can take before you'd like to start discussing your vision for the game?
Well, actually, we're already talking for 2 hours, but I believe I kind of my curiosity is already satiated. How to say it?
Okay.
I believe I kind of feel you guys with what you consider pay to win or not pay to win, what you consider good pricing or not. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk with you, and I believe I kind of understand. There's a last question is, since we're talking about alignment system, what do you think if we're going to introduce an insurance for alignment loss that will have a certain cap of, not certain cap, a certain amount of skill points will not be lost if you die?
Instant buy for me.
I don't personally agree with that, because I think that means that people can go around and not have to succumb to any kind of alignment.
Well, let me just explain it first.
Okay.
First of all, we're talking about small digits, like -5, -10, -15 skill points lost. So if you are like a really low alignment criminal, it will not save you from a skill loss. It cannot save you from a skill loss. You will still lose some skill. But if you are with a positive alignment with 4 skills capped at 100 and you've been killed, you will still lose a couple of skill points. But if you will have an insurance, you will lose nothing. I mean, positive alignment skill loss about 1, 2, 3 points, and the lowest and the cheapest insurance we plan will be 5 points.
I mean, I personally think it's a good idea just because it promotes one style of gameplay that I don't want to be hindered too much, and I feel that, even though you are going to still have some kind of negative loss when you die, you still have, as you said, that insurance, and you feel like you can go and do what you want a little bit more as well in that regard.
Well, now we heard the PvP part of our game auditory, and now I'd like to hear something from PvE and role player and crafters part. What do you think about it?
Brother, go ahead.
Love how I'm the PvE. I like to PvP too. Come on, guys.
you are representing. You're representing the RP community. He's representing the RP community, so he has to be PvE.
So, can you explain it a little bit more? So you would be able to, I'm guessing, pay or spend resources
So you'll be able to buy an insurance for 1 day that will save like 5 or 10 or 15 or maybe 20 skill points when you die. So for instance, if you have, it's just rough numbers. If you have, like, say, 0 alignment, when you die, you should lose about 10 points. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers, but for instance, you should lose 10 points. But you have an insurance for 5 points. That means that when you die, you will lose only 5 points. 10 minus 5 equals 5. If you have, like, in the same situation, if you have minus 50 alignment, you should lose, like, minus 60 skill points, and you have insurance for 5 points, you will lose 55 skill points instead of 60. And if you have a positive alignment, then you lose, like, normally when you die you lose 1, 2, 3 points, and if you have an insurance, that means that you will lose no points at all.
And this would be something in the shop? That you
it will be in the shop. Only in the shop.
It's like an insurance you can buy to reduce your penalty.
Yeah, it's an insurance. Yes, an insurance.
Yeah.
Have you, along those lines, somebody mentioned in the chat, considered that, but instead of it being like a flat reduction across a varying amount of skills that you would lose points in, instead of making it so that you could pay to designate one skill which is safe from skill loss?
Yes, we also consider that, and maybe we have to scrap that idea because it makes our shop and our game even more complicated. I mean, that was my original idea, so that you can ensure a certain skill, and like you have blacksmith, you have forgery, or I don't know, armor smithing at 100. But also, it will be an exploit that some PvP characters that will ensure their important PvP skills, and they will not bother about other skills, and that will mean that even if they have minus 100 alignment, the certain skills will be locked and will not be degraded, and that means that insurance will ultimately protect them from a skill loss. And I don't know what that.
Okay. I'm of the firm opinion, as well as quite a few people, that any kind of item that gives any kind of help to people in game just because they can afford it is not the way to go about it. I'd rather pay a flat out subscription fee and be forced to pay it than have people can buy stuff in game that can benefit them. I'd rather be forced to pay a certain monthly fee, such as in other MMOs, than have people who can buy like XP boosts and like alignment insurance.
I think it's about finding balance, because we don't want the game to turn into you have to pay to PvP. And I mean, of course, like, people don't want to be griefed and people don't want to be attacked all the time too, but at the same time, I'm sure a lot of people don't want to pay to feel like they have to pay PvP without losing a bunch of alignment. So, I don't know. I think it's about finding balance.
Well, the real truth is that subscription games, unfortunately, they almost does not work in real life. Yeah, and that's my main problem. I mean, personally, as a gamer, I also think that flat subscription or buy to play is normal way of playing.
The way to go.
Yeah, way to go. But it doesn't provide enough. It will not provide, I'm quite sure, enough money for us to keep on developing. That's plain and simple. That's a problem of our games, that we have a lot of stuff that we can develop, should develop, and will develop sometime later. But on the other hand, we got a niche game that is definitely not for everyone. It's very complex, and we already suffered from it everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. When we're talking with other publishers, when we're talking with other fellow game developers, or just with audiences in different places, people cannot understand our game like really fast. There is no pitch for our game that can explain all the depth of our game in just one sentence.
Okay.
And that's all. That's our cross we have to carry.
To carry.
To carry for all the time, and that's why. That was one reason why I'm talking with you, is if you see our game as some kind of exceptional guru game that that suits only a niche players that you are also in that niche, do you consider it's normal to pay for it for like expensive skins or something like that? And I'm trying to find that balance of where we can keep on float. Yeah, I will be straightforward. Yeah. When we can keep on development and still it will not be like, you know, instant pay to win like in some other like, you know, Korean grinding games where you can buy a sword that will give you plus 50 damage.
Exactly.
We will go outside and kill everyone on site, and that sword will also be no drops, so no one can take it away from you. I mean, there's always other extremes.
What about the alignment insurance that you're talking about? Has a higher chance that you don't lose skills, but there is still obviously less of a chance than if you didn't have it at all, because then no one would buy it, obviously. But
hold on, he wasn't talking about you don't lose skill. It's just that you lose less. You will never.
You lose less. Yeah, there is not.
No, yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying that people, if it was more of a chance, then people would still be conscious about their choices that they make and who they want to attack, instead of just going out with the knowledge that, oh, I can attack these guys, I won't lose enough skill points to not be able to use this weapon anymore, or something like that.
That's the point.
I would also say it depends on how it's implemented. Like if it's a straight up you're insured forever, or if it's like a it's just 1 hour period.
No, it's not 1 hour, definitely. No.
Yeah, not 1 hour. Yes, that.
It's one day, and for a certain amount of skills. So if you got a positive alignment, maybe it's time for you to go and have some random PK experience. But I mean, again, guys, idea is not to destroy PvP or random player killing at all. Idea is to minimize it on an adequate level.
Okay.
The main idea behind alignment system was not to remove PvP completely. In that case, we can just remove player damage and everyone will be fine. Yeah. But the idea was to minimize it, to remove kiddies that are going to kill everyone on site, like in Rust or some other game.
Well, you at least know our opinion and our point of view towards that, and you just have to work together with your team to find the best balance between the fine line that separates a good cash shop and pay to win, because pay to win will drive away your community, your community, anyone's community. It's not only yours. We trust your judgment. We trust your judgment to find the best solution in order to prevent something like that to happen.
Thank you very much for keeping faith in me. And about pay to win, I mean, I've been just a player as you guys back like a couple of years ago, but right now I'm talking with a lot of game developers and read a lot of stuff and articles, and you'd be surprised. I mean, in Asia and many a large population of in CIS countries and in Brazil. I mean, everywhere outside of Europe and the United States, almost everyone, they like pay-to-win games. You know, in Asian games, in China,
I know. That's why they stick there. They don't leave that place. They are created in Asia and they stay in Asia. They don't come to Europe or the United States.
Well, I would say that's why the Asian games don't really last in America or Europe.
In Europe
anywhere but Europe or Asia. Like, I mean, I'm okay with a shop, but anything that is besides cosmetic, it's going to drive me away. And I played the game for
one guy
almost
made
3
the
years.
news because he bought a $15,000 sword.
I think in the Western world, like a lot of people like to base it on skill and not what you buy.
No. I completely agree with that. What was my question about that? Someone said that most people don't like pay to win. I completely on the same track with you, on the same page that. And I played with a lot of players by myself in different MMOs, and like let's say Western players, they don't like pay to win, while Eastern players they like it and respect those who pay to win in such games. And it doesn't, of course, it doesn't mean that I want to make a pay to win. here for you guys, but we have to keep it once we will go to Asia or maybe to Swiss countries.
Do you feel like, I mean, in terms of the whole cosmetic side, do you feel like personally, this is like a personal question to you, do you feel like that would be enough to keep people buying items in your cash shop? Are you concerned about that? Like people not really wanting to buy just cosmetics, or?
I'm really, it's really hard to say. I mean, no one ever created a game similar to our games, and I do hope that cosmetics should be enough. I mean, I believe we are on the same page about the level of pay to win. I mean, everyone says that cosmetics is not pay to win, and it's quite obvious. Insurance, it may be pay to win, maybe no. As I said, skill booster, well, it's not like pay to win, but it can be pay to win if it will be from the start and blah blah blah. If I will say that I will implement some kind of sword that can kill everyone with one hit, it will be like, oh yeah, it's a certain pay to win. I mean, there is a certain degree of pay to winness, and that's where we have to balance between keeping us afloat as a team and not making our game like a pay to win green.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's why I'm actually talking with you to make sure that I have the same feeling of pay to win as well. Consider that certain item will be considered like, yeah, as 100% pay to win, 15% pay to win, or like 5% pay to win. No, like only few say that it's pay to win, the rest say it's okay.
I think from this discussion, most people have said cosmetics, alternative characters, and like making money from that, of course, and in the cash shop, XP boost would be okay. I think the biggest problem came with the insurance for alignment, but I think it would still be fine as long as it was balanced. I mean, it has to be very balanced.
One thing that I think is worth mentioning is, with this community, then the game you've built, it's a very, very hardcore game, and that's what attracts people to it. So I feel that adding any element that people can deem as pay to win would be a lot more detrimental to a community like this, where people like the hardcore aspect of it and they'd hate the fact that other people can buy to get an advantage over them. Yeah. So I would say that
I'm sick of easy games.
Yeah, I'd say that if you introduced any pay to win features to this game, it would have a lot more of a negative effect than it would being added to a game that you know, had less of a hardcore emphasis, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely agree with you. That's another problem of our game. I mean, from the monetization perspective, it's harder for us to be afloat. I mean, I talked with different developers, and I know that they implement an overpowered tank or something like that, and you get billions of dollars from that. And the most important, that audience that playing that game, they are feeling okay to compete with a tank or that have a golden ammo and increased stats. And yeah, I understand. I agree with you that our auditory is more hardcore and less tolerant to pay to win. And of course, I do understand that.
You shouldn't worry about that. I was talking with Saxon just a few hours ago. Like, your game has not been publicized as it should be yet, for good reason. But even if it's not publicized like many other mainstream games, you keep getting on the news, like articles on PC Gamer and such. The last article was just like 3 months ago, and you're not even trying. So I'm sure that I can say it's plain clear. So once you really start trying to publicize your game, and once it becomes the game that you envisioned, and you will have no problem with cash shop or whatever cosmetic item you can have.
Guys, let me answer it. Just for you to understand. We always trying to publicize our game and get it as many places as possible. We got a PR company that cost us $1,000 to just operate and keep something up about our game. And the truth is, that's one of the problems of our game, that streamers or YouTubers or journalists, they cannot get in our game and instantly understand what is it about.
Exactly.
Instantly understand the depth of the game. And in that case, they cannot write a proper article, they cannot write interesting article, they cannot make an interesting YouTube video, they cannot make something that will appeal to masses.
That's true.
And that's why they actually fail or just simply don't want to do that. And when you think that we didn't try it, trust me, we're constantly trying to do that. And I am personally, that's one of my biggest concerns, to make our game more clear with a less steep learning curve and with some ways to teach it faster. And that's the problem of our game, that it's niche, that it's hardcore, and that it's hard to understand and comprehend really fast. And if anyone can help with anything about it, I mean, maybe have some kind of connections or ideas or anything, just feel free to throw it right at me. But trust me, we have used a lot of convenient, a lot of classic and not so classic ways to promote our game, and it kind of works, but you cannot expect from us, especially with our budgets that are simply not that high, for such a scale of the game. You can expect that we will be on every billboard in your city, you know.
I think when it goes full release, that will be more of a clear picture as well. I mean, right now it's still at a stage, especially for the MMO, where people have to buy into it and stuff like that, and I think that might put people off. But as it's open to the public, I think that's where you'll see more people coming on board, especially players that even bought your own back in the day. There's still a lot of people that want to play the game that don't at the moment because they want to wait for full release. So
most people who bought your own did so because they were promised the MMO. So there were 400,000 copies sold. A lot of people will be coming back, hopefully.
If you want my opinion, I think that not all of them want an MMO. I mean, there are a lot of people that are happy building their own castle on their private server with their kids and their wives and behind the password protection. And that's how they play it, and it's fine. Some people just jump different servers and experience different rule sets and different playing.
On the subject of monetizing the game, I remember a discussion quite early where there was talk of having a certain area being protected for those guilds that didn't want to be subject to the open PvP and who could lease a plot of land, regardless how anybody feels about that. I just wonder if that's still a reality in the conceptual phase. Are you still considering that, or
considering what exactly? Sorry, plot of land.
Yes, sure. Sorry, I'll try to clarify it. I remember this discussion going on earlier and it being mentioned as well by the dev team, although I might be off, that there would be a part of the game world, specifically one server or maybe a server and a half, where there would be plots that would be paid to for the upkeep.
It's not a separate thing. We have a private claims in game already. And you can already claim a part of the land in game, and if you want to increase it above certain certain scale, for instance, I believe you can have up to 100 in-game cells for free, for just paying in-game stuff, for sacrificing in-game stuff. But if you want to increase it up to 200 or 300. I don't remember how exactly the numbers. You will have to pay with God's favor. So
okay, yes.
Yeah.
That makes it clear. Thank you. That clarifies a lot.
Wasn't there at one point talk about you being able to hire, say, like a house in the main city if you wanted to be like a crafter?
Yes.
Is that still going to be a thing where you can pay?
It will be a thing, but we will sometime later it will take to implement. But again, I do not expect that it will provide a lot. I mean, amount of houses in the central city is quite limited, and even if we will charge, I don't know, like $10 per month or something like that for the rent, even that it will not bring a lot of money to us. So
yeah, but that's still something you guys want to do. So if you wanted to be a PvE crafter, you could technically do it.
Yes. So we plan some kind of safe zone around the central city, and you will be able to rent a house in the city, or you will be able to claim a private claim on the city protected land. and that will be your that will be your high security zone if you play you online. Yeah,
it's high sec, high sec.
High sec, yeah, high sec, yeah, of course, high sec, low sec, and zero, yeah. So it will be your high sec, and yes, it's also enough. But again, since that land is limited, and I don't know how many players will be interested in it, I also don't think it will be enough to.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it's a good feature, and it will be nice for those who want to be safe and creative somewhere on the MMO scale, but not like a main drive for our scale.
So, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap this up?
I don't remember. I was speaking about something, but about early access. So. Yeah, you can expect Life is Settled your own players on the next phase when we're going to end CBT number 5. So we'll see how it's going to turn out. Hopefully it will be good. But again, trust me, promoting our game is not an easy task. And so if you can help somehow with that, I mean, just word of mouth, just sharing your ideas, just I don't know, telling to other guilds or friends about the game, it really helps a lot, because really we all must understand it's a niche game. It's not everyone can understand it. That's why I'm making a comparison with some French gourmet restaurant that is selling some special oysters. Not everyone can understand the taste of special oyster or distinguish between a simple oyster or just with some hamburger. Because it's not for everyone. Not everyone has reached that level of hardcoreness. Not everyone is looking for that type of hardcore. And that's why we are in niche, and that's why it's harder to reach persons that are also in that niche. Because like making an article in PC Gamer, 99.99% will not be interested, because it's not what they are looking for. It's not another Call of Duty, it's not another Minecraft, so it's not nothing like that. It's some special niche.
You're very modest.
No, it's really true, because I've been with the project for like 6 years already.
I understand.
And I have seen stuff, to talk with many different people, and that's unfortunately how we, if compared with other games. We're big, we're complex, we're niche, we're hard to understand, we're hardcore, we're not for everyone. And that's a problem.
So,
everywhere.
Anything else? Do you want to keep throwing questions at you?
Yeah. And I like that last sentence in the chat. Delete chat to one dying. Yes, of course. Let's make a permadeath, and that will increase the amount of in our game. That's the way. Yeah.
Okay. That's the way you make money. $20 for a new account and permadeath.
Bobik, I've got a few simple, just yes or no questions for you here.
Okay, so that's really fast, like 5 minutes.
Just yes or no questions. One is from TVG Grim. He says, will there be any more guild customization, colors, emblems, or ability to rotate emblems to use more than 2 at a time?
No way to rotate emblems, but maybe more options for heraldry itself. Yes.
Okay.
But no emblems.
You plan on adding a sort of end game for large guilds to pursue after they've sort of finished with their major wars and stuff, i.e. some kind of some object to pursue?
Yes, well, first of all, my personal opinion is that global wars will never end until some really huge force, I don't know, like goons, I don't know, someone arrive and wipe a whole server. But in that case, it will be not fun both for goons or for big guild, or both for those who will live or will stay on that server. I had personally some ideas about some monumental construction works, I don't know, like pyramids or some kind of huge temple or something like that can be built, and some other guilds will rent it. And the idea behind Pope and Cardinals is also some kind of goal for huge guilds to promote their own Cardinals and to build up a global politics. There are some ideas, but again, there are ideas where I have not reached them yet.
All right. One more thing, and then I'm gonna unmute Stark, and he can ask a quick question because he's been asking all night.
Okay.
The dev team have mentioned that about the delay between switching between stances, like combat stance back to, just normal stance, and because that can be abused by certain builds, especially builds that have got a lot of speed. By just running out of combat stance, hitting someone, going back out of combat stance, and then running away. Do you have any idea what the delay will be?
Honestly, I don't remember. I do remember we had a discussion about it. I do remember we had some kind of solution. I believe will be either fixed. I really don't remember. I do remember we discussed it and decided to do something, but I'm not even sure.
Okay, I'm going to unmute Stark. He can ask his question, and then we'll just wrap this up. Right, let me find him here.
It's done.
Oh, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, so my question is, essentially, one of the things I've noticed in the communities is, like, there's actually a very large community, but about 95% of the people are just waiting for the MMO to come up and there not to be a wipe. So my question essentially is, what is the difference between the next phase of testing you're talking about with Early Access Steam and OBT? Like, will there be a wipe in any of this? And what are the plans for NA and EU servers?
Okay, that's really, really good questions. The current plan is to make wipe at the end of that CBT, and the Early Access will be on the new servers, and I do not think we're going to wipe them. So it will be kind of like a release, but only for a small amount of players. And later on, when we're going to reach OBT, I mean, it might take a good amount of months.
Yeah, we know.
We will see. We will see how it's going to happen.
Yeah, you see, that's good news. There's a lot of people waiting. Like, there's going to be a lot of people. I have like 40 guys who want to play, but they're just like, we don't see the point.
Well, that's actually good because I don't have any exact statistics about how many players are waiting and just dormant, or how many just really forgot about the game. I mean, we both understand. Everyone of us have like hundreds of games on their Steam account, and I personally never visit like 99% of those games. And even if they reach something, some stage, make some updates and everything, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't reach me, and so basically that game is non-existent to me. And I think that there is some amount of players that consider Life is Fiddle in the same way. They bought it, they played it, they said, okay, they didn't want to refund it, but they will not come back. That also bothers me.
Conflict is what gets a lot of people in my guild going. Like, when there's a conflict, you'll see 30 people on, but when they're just like sitting around nothing to do, it's like 3 guys.
Well, yeah, I kind of understand that part. And what was I forgot, what was the second part of your question? One was about the difference of...
the NA and EU servers.
Oh, yeah, NA, EU, of course. We have NA servers now. We established basic infrastructure on them, and we will not be able to start them at the start of CBT on number 5, like tomorrow, they will not be up. But we plan to get them up maybe next. So we're going to spend the time just to test them to see how hardware is working. I mean, it's a new hoster and new everything is new for us on that part. I mean, new from a hoster perspective and from their staff perspective. But it's the same infrastructure that we demanded for them to establish, and it's the same code, it's the same software that we use. So I expect that during CBT5 we're going to have an NA server, and on the launch of Early Access we're also going to have an NA server.
Okay, that's really good news.
Alright, yeah, so we can wrap this up here. We're going to have to do one again because there's a hell of a lot of people that still want to ask questions. But obviously we've been here for around 3 hours now, so that can wait for another time. I'd like to personally thank you, and on behalf of the community, I'd like to thank you as well for doing this, because I cannot name a single developer that would join the TeamSpeak of an in-game guild to discuss the future of the game with them. So that's really, really good, and again, I thank you for that.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your opinions, and I'm really glad to chat with you and to make sure that I understand you better, and that's really important. And when hopefully you understand us better, because well, it's still life, you know, and the economical part of the game is still important. So, and I personally have seen different hardcore games that disappeared because they were unable to sustain themselves, and I don't want such fate for us too. You know.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you have seen all of them. Nothing comes up into my mind, but there are a couple of them. So, well, maybe even Face of Mankind. I don't know if they're up or
yeah.
But there are a lot of different hardcore games with interesting aspects that either died or dying. I don't want to be Life is Fiddle to be the same way. That's why I'm doing everything to keep us afloat, but still keep the face of the game and ideas of the game intact.
Yeah, you're not keeping anyone afloat. The game has a lot of potential, and not by a single chance you should think that you're keeping anyone afloat, because the game is thriving. The more you develop, the more you implement, the better, the more people will join. You know, the game will be more interesting. So it's a gradual effort you have to have.
Yeah, well, that's really reassuring. Because sometimes when you take a look on the Steam page and you see mixed reviews and everyone...
Steam sucks. We all agree with that. My review...
We talked about Steam reviews earlier.
But it's one of really convenient and easy ways to reach a huge auditory, and Steam is rather, you know, rather hardcore. Yeah. I mean, because if you make some kind of your own site and try to get some traffic, you know, like from, I don't know, banner networks or anything, those people that will come, they don't know even how to install a game. I mean, in most cases. And that will not bring anything, and that's why Steam is rather good. That a certain hardcore-ish and hardcore type of players already there, and that's why it's quite still important.
Well, we'll try to help the best we can.
Well, thank you very much for that, guys. Really reassuring.
No, yeah. Thank you again, and well, I hope we can do the I hope we can have this conversation again in a few years. Well,
yes, completely agree with you, and of course I will say hi to Boris.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm far away from it. As I said, I'm in right now, Ohio, but I will tell other developers to say hi to Boris.
Okay then.
Thank you very much.
No problem. See you, bro.